West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another edition of the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. You may be wondering, where am I? Well, Jaja. I'm still in Birmingham, people. Still in Birmingham. Yesterday, Santoki and I, we went to Birmingham. We said, yeah, it's time for both of CCP to go watch a West Indies game. I took in the Island series. We said, first ODI, cool. Let's bring the good form with us into the England tour. England, surely we can catch them on the hop. You know, they've got a brand new restart. They're putting a new team together. We've just had 3 games to work out our groove. Jaja. Defeat by 238 runs. I'm still in Birmingham. Big up CCP supporter Machel. He knows who he is. Machel got in touch with us at CCP and said, listen, lads, obviously you lot, you're committed to the cause. You're committed to watching the L's. I'm going on Sunday to Cardiff to catch another possible L. And he's like, you lot, you're committed to the cause. You're just collecting L's everywhere. You're just collecting L's everywhere you go. He said, I've got an Airbnb. And he said, listen, I'll give you the Airbnb free of charge on Thursday night to just help alleviate some of the costs with following around West Indies cricket, etc. Big up, Machel. Such a genuine, honest offer. I've got a big story to tell about how I eventually got to the Airbnb. The story is so mad. Machel doesn't even know it yet. I haven't even told him yet. I'll drop that story soon on a live call-in show. The story is mad, people. But I'm in the Airbnb right now, and I'm about to, you can see that I'm in the bed. I'm about to get up. I'm about to get up and get ready, go back to London, recuperate, rejuvenate. Jamaica, Nigeria on the Saturday. Hey, can't stop, won't stop, you lot don't know about me. Can't stop, won't stop. Jamaica, Nigeria in the Unity Cup final on Saturday. And then early doors Sunday, I'm up again and I'm heading to Cardiff. I'm heading to Cardiff, people. And then I go to the Oval for the final one. The thing is, whatever people want to say about CCP, if it's possible for me to financially get to a cricket match, I will get there, It don't matter how many L's. It don't matter the extent of the L. I'll get there. I'm a serious guy out here. Anyways, the thing is, this video isn't even about the West Indies men's side. The 238 lit down. I mean, we can talk about that. Look to fam. These men had me in Birmingham city centre at minutes to 11 o'clock drinking a rum punch. They just had me down like that. They had me listening to Busy Signal, drinking rum punch. Boy, it gets like that though. They took it there. They took me there. They know what they done. It was dark. Anyways, people, I'm actually here to talk about the women's team. I haven't even had a chance to get to a women's game yet to catch an L. At the time of recording on Friday morning, like Derby, which is where the first ODI takes place between England women and West Indies women, is about an hour from where I am now. I could probably do that before going back to London. I could head to Derby to catch the first ODI between England women and West Indies women. But fam, I'm down rotten at the moment. I need to get home. I need to get home and rejuvenate. I need to get home and respawn. On those like shoot 'em up fighter games where your health percentage is going down and like it comes up on the screen and it says critical. That's where I'm at right now vis-a-vis West Indies cricket. These men just got me jumping on planes, jumping on trains. I nearly saw a world record defeat yesterday. It's long, cuz. It's long. So West Indies women, I'm trying to work out if I can muster the belief and the energy to get to Derby. But boy, it's looking long for me right now. But anyways, anyways, West Indies women played 3 T20s against England recently, and it's time to actually talk on that. I've told you a lot before that the one thing that separates Caribbean cricket podcasts from the multitude and plethora of other channels that have spawned since we created in terms of looking at West Indies cricket is I genuinely believe we're the only ones that actually pay attention to the women's team properly. We can talk about the men's team, and I can deconstruct that game yesterday. And Santoki and I did live stuff from the ground yesterday. You can see that on the channel. But enough of them. They need to think about their game. I can't help them, man. The women's team. So the first T20 at Chelmsford, we lost by 8 wickets with 21 balls left. We posted 146 for 7, and England women chased that in 16.3 overs. In the second one, England won by 9 wickets with 64 balls left. We posted 81 for 9 in 20 overs, and England chased that in 9.2 overs. Then the final one, England, where was the final one again? I can't even remember. But I'm trying to remember where that game was. Anyways, can't remember. But in the final one, England posted 144 for 5 in their 20 overs. And West Indies lost, and they won by 17 runs. West Indies reaching 127 for 8 in their 20 overs. Probably that was the closest game in terms of restricting England's 144 for 5 is probably that's a good pass score, to be fair, but obviously it is what it is. Now, so you may remember when I did the women's preview series ahead of this tour of England, for those of you who watched it, and based on the viewing figures, it's about 2-point-something K of you, right? You may remember that in that video, I said it's going to be 6-0. We're going to lose this series 6-0. And I said the only chance we have of the women winning any game on this tour is obviously if Hayley just produces an all-round masterclass and catch England on the hop. And to be fair to Queen Hayley, she nearly did it, right? If you go back to those matches in the first one, Hayley scored an even 100 when we posted 146 for 7. And to be fair, I mean, Hayley scored an even 100. She scored 100 of the 146 runs, right? And we can talk about it, and we can all type, and we can all moan and say, how is it that it's only Hayley that can, we can all do that. We know what this is, we know the story now. There's nothing it's treading old ground now to say what we need to say, right? I mean, I'll try and say bits and pieces, but we know the story now. So anyways, Hayley scored an even 100 in a 146. Even in the third match where we were chasing 145 to win, Hayley scored 72 of the 127 that we made. So I warned everyone before the series started, Hayley will have to produce something amazing out of this world, and maybe somebody else might chip in. And if you add that all together, we might catch England on the hop. It nearly happened. But even if it had happened, what does that really tell us? And I think the question that people have to ask themselves, looking back at that, the women's 3 T20s, and obviously got the 3 ODIs to come, starting with the one in Derby today. And we're going to lose them because you're asking Hayley, and yes, Stefani should come back for at least one of the games. Yes, Shemaine Campbell should come back. And that's a bit of and Chanel Henry. So that's 3 experienced players who should come back into the ODI game, which helps the team, right? But the longer the format, the more difficult it is for the West Indies women to compete. We just saw the World Cup qualifiers. Those 3 players I just mentioned were in the World Cup qualifiers with Hayley, and you saw what happened. Scotland done us dirty, right? And we had to produce an amazing run chase against Thailand to nearly get to the World Cup qualifiers, and it should never have had to come to that, right? So we've already seen the World Cup qualifiers, what it's like in the ODIs, right? So the chance of us beating England in the ODI is pretty much slim to none. I'm also well aware that Hayley went on, I think it was Sportsmax recently. I haven't listened to it yet, but I don't need to listen to it because Hayley would have said everything that I've already been saying. There is nothing that Hayley would have said, and I will listen to it at some point, but there's nothing that Hayley would have said in that Sportsmax interview or whatever it is that she did that we haven't been saying on the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Right now in West Indies women's cricket, unless Deandra comes back, and I don't know where Deandra is. Some say she's injured. I don't know what the full deal is with Deandra. If somebody does know, please put in the comments below. Is it as simple as just she's injured and that's it, right? But whatever. Without listening to it, the facts are simple. The squad that we took to England was very much, minus Shemaine, minus Stefani, obviously, who Stefani has injury woes, and Chanel Henry. It is so inexperienced. Like, what are we expecting here? And people can get in the comments and they can cuss and they can say, oh, this player didn't do this and that player didn't do that. But what are you expecting? I expected 6-0. What were you expecting? Like, all that has happened so far is what you should have expected. And that's not me cussing the women out, not at all. I just think in the context of where we are at with the women's game in the region, we got what was expected. And you can only look at the performances. So I just get my phone out and say, did any of the youngsters step up? No, sorry, that's harsh. Did any of the youngsters show signs that in the future they will be able to step up to the plate at a higher level? And when you look at it, I'm going to read some numbers to you people. These are the averages across the 3 games. Hayley Matthews, 177 runs, an average of 89. Right? Shemaine Campbell only batted once, 26. Gajnabi, 47 runs, an average of 16. Grimmond, 19 runs in 2 matches at an average of 10. Mangru, 18 runs, an average of 9. Alira Lane, 11 runs, an average of 6. Zayda James, 13 runs, an average of 4. Janilla Glasgow, 5 runs in 2 matches, an average of 3. Kiana Joseph, 6 runs, and an average of 2. Have you not watched our T20 Blaze or the Women's Super 50? If you've watched our domestic competition, you shouldn't be surprised. There's a couple men and women who watch this channel and comment religiously when we do women's content, and thank you for the comments. It's good to see that there are some people within the region who have a vested interest in the women's game. And do you know the funniest thing though, right? And if this gets to any of the stakeholders in West Indies cricket, we can probably make more gains in the women's game if we invest in it than we can in the men's game. The men's game has been down rotten for 30, what was it now? It's been down rotten for 30 years. The women's game, yes, we're starting at a low base, but we basically the territories don't really put funding into the women's game. If we could somehow force the territories to understand there is huge potential there to at this nascent stage, there is huge potential to boost up West Indies women's cricket to be competitive on a world stage. We're not actually, I mean, how many good international women's teams are there? England, Australia, India, South Africa, New Zealand. There's probably only 5 who are good. We're still on a par with the rest. Pakistan, Bangladesh, we can beat them on their day. Sri Lanka, we can beat them. So we're at a weird point in the women's game. Hayley's only in her mid-20s, right? Okay, couple men are due to retire soon. In terms of Stefani will retire in the next however many years. Deandra's only got so many years. But the point is, if we put huge investment in now, we will actually catch up. But there ain't really no investment going on in the territories. And I'm tired. I keep saying this to you lot. I'm tired of people, and this goes to the men's game as well. I'm tired of people coming on the comments in the channel and saying this is, for argument's sake, Sammy's fault. This is Kishore Shallow's fault. This is, and you just name some random like boogeyman in Cricket West Indies and say it's their fault. Listen again to what I'm telling you, people, and listen carefully. Until, and this goes for men's, women's, boys, girls, age group cricket, etc. Until you can tell me what your territory is doing for cricket in your nation, don't bother telling me about, and Cricket West Indies should do that, and Cricket West Indies are to blame for this. What is your territory doing? This video is about the women's game. What is your territory doing for women and girls cricket? Don't write any comment below if you can't answer that question. And if you can't answer that question, check this question out. What are you doing to do anything about it? I don't want to hear you. I don't type on the computer. Don't lecture me about nothing. Don't tell me it's Cricket West Indies' fault. What have you done? You who I'm pointing at on the screen. What have you done? Where's your agency? What agitation have you done to highlight anything in your nation? I'm on job. I'm doing bits because I'm on this channel, which has 12.5k subscribers. Everyone knows who the Caribbean, and that's not a bossy thing, but who the people who matter in cricket in the region, they know who Caribbean Cricket Podcast is. Yesterday at the ODI versus England, I was the only Caribbean media outlet at Edgbaston. Ask Darren Sammy. When the match finished yesterday, he had no Jerome Foster, the media guy for big up Jerome for West Indies Cricket, said, any questions? As God is my witness, this is what happened. Jerome Foster said, any questions for head coach Darren Sammy? Pure crickets in the room. No questions. I'm sitting there at the back going, rah, it's up to me. Put my hand up, ask Darren a question. Jerome then says, any more questions? Crickets. He goes to the hybrid virtual thing to see if there's any questions from the Caribbean media back home. No one saying anything. So I put my hand back up again and asked Darren another question. And I looked around and I thought, Judger, if I wasn't there in that press conference, there would have been no questions for Darren Sammy. So I'm doing my job. I'm doing my job. I'm turning up and I'm asking the questions that need to be asked. I'm going on this platform and saying what needs to be said, right? When I get to Jamaica this summer, when I go home to visit my parents and ting, I will raise questions. I will ask questions of people. What's the Jamaica Cricket Association doing for women's and girls cricket? I'll put people on blast. You lot who are watching this, what have you done? So we can criticize and we can cuss and we can say, boy, the women, them, nah, it's not good enough, and so on and so forth. But two questions. What did you expect and what have you done? Listen again. What did you expect and what have you done? And I'm not talking about Cricket West Indies. I'm talking about your nation. The Barbados Cricket Association, the Guyana Cricket Board, the TTCB, who are in the middle of teething out money, allegedly, the Jamaica Cricket Association, Windwards, Leewards. Break down the Windwards and Leewards into your different associated islands. What have you done? We already know the situation with Hayley. We know that Queen Hayley's got to try do a thing and hope someone can go with her. These women who are with her, they're young. They're the level of experience they've got from the domestic level is poor. The standard is poor. The jump they have to make from our domestic cricket to compete in an international level is huge. It's like the jump from my height to Santoki's height. It's huge. For me to be on par with Santoki height-wise, I've got to stand on a box. And yet, when these women come and play these type of games, it's quick. Men are quick to cuss and say, Hayley, what's the point? What's the point? And we can try blame the head coach, but look what he's got to work with. And that's not a disrespect on the women, but how do we bridge that gap without fundamental investment at the domestic level? Cricket West Indies are doing their camp stuff and they're giving the girls the opportunity the opportunity to go travel to England and this, that, and the third. And it's great for them, but the gap is huge. Let me talk about the bowling. I mean, it was good to see Claxton get her one game. She's got potential, took one wicket. I thought Zayda was very good. More and more, Zayda James, I genuinely believe can go on to be, I'm not saying she'll reach Stefani levels, but she can go on to at least be someone like a Shemaine Campbell who can make some contributions from timely contributions from time to time. I think she can actually exceed Shemaine Campbell's level, but I'm saying that should be the base level that Zayda James should be reaching for. I think she's got huge potential, Zayda. We just can't work out where that is. She a genuine all-rounder, or is there a particular suit that we should be pushing her for? But she did all right, particularly with the ball up front. So Zayda's projection continues. She continues to slowly but surely develop. And remember, she's only young, Zayda. She's only 21. So we got to give time. We got to trust the process with Zayda. But other than that, people, I mean, we only took 8 wickets in the 3 games, of which Hayley took 3 of them. Zayda and Hayley took 6 of the 8 wickets. There weren't nothing else. I mean, Ashmini Munasar bowled 3 overs in the last game, went for 21, which was all right. I think, again, Ashmini, I think she's got a lot of potential. Karishma, I'm worried slightly, because Afi took 1 wicket, Karishma took none, Alira Lane took none, Cherry Ann Fraser, again, expensive, took none. Janilla Glasgow was expensive, took none. There's definitely, and this is why Claxton's are ultimately going to get more and more chances over time. We are a spin-heavy, spin-dominant side. And when the spin's not spinning, apart from Hayley will always get wickets. But when the spin's not spinning, and Karishma, Afi, whether it be Ashmini, whoever else that I'm missing, when they aren't contributing and the spin's not really spinning for the rest of them, what can you really ask the team to do? We badly missed Deandra Dottin. Deandra Dottin would come in and add something. Deandra Dottin is basically 2 players. She would be a frontline bowler for us, and she is an obviously world-class batter. We badly missed Deandra Dottin. But I'm thinking long-term, what happens? How old's Deandra now? 1 second. I think she's 33, 34 now, Deandra is 33. She turns 34 next month. How many years do we really have left of Deandra? 3? Maybe 3 and a bit, 3.5. By the time Deandra Dottin retires from international cricket properly, we need to have found at least 2. This is the target I'm setting everyone in women's cricket. Hayley's mid-20s, so Hayley's got pure time left. Hayley's got so much time left that by the time my daughter reaches 16, 17, I think Hayley will still be playing. So there's a chance that my daughter will play for West Indies women's team with Hayley still in the women's team and captaining it. That's how young Hayley still is, right? We've got 3.5 years till when Deandra goes to find at least 2 or 3 players that when we add them together make. That sounds crazy. We got 3 years to find 3 or 4 players that when you add the sum of their parts, they create one Deandra Dottin. That's the target. Anyways, people, we've got the ODIs starting, like I say, today in Derby. I won't lie to you. The chances of me getting to them are slim. I feel bad because it looks like I'm prioritizing the men's game over the women's game, and I feel really bad about it. But the way the schedule has worked, just financially, it's difficult. It's difficult. I could get to Derby today, like I say, but I'm tired, cuz. So we got Derby today, starts 1 o'clock. ODIs go for a long time as well. On Wednesday, they go to Leicester, Grace Road. Obviously, I'll be at work, so I can't make that game. And then the final game, I think, is at Taunton. Let me just double check. The final game, 11 o'clock start, is at Taunton. And there is no way I can get to Taunton. So it's today or bust if I'm going to try and get to an ODI game. But people, we'll see. We'll see what I can do. I'll be Machel St. Patrick here at One Half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. As ever, thank you for everyone who locks into the stuff that we do. If you'd like to support the Caribbean Cricket Podcast, head to www.patreon.com/caribcricket. We do have PayPal as well if you'd like to support that way. You can support in many different ways. Michael supported by just saying, bro, you're in Birmingham, you can have my Airbnb free of charge. So listen, big up anybody who's ever supported the Caribbean Cricket Podcast in any which way. On the way out, like, share, and subscribe. And if you'd like to get involved with our official sponsor, Parlay Pros, if you're somebody who likes to study the sports betting markets and get really clear trends and patterns, and a sophisticated AI model which tells you what are the best kind of bets to lay down, get involved with Parlay Pros. All the information is in the comments, not in the comments, in the information below this video. But I'll be Machel St. Patrick here at One Half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Myself and Santoki will be back for a series wrap, no doubt. Might even be today, I don't know. I haven't heard from you see, when Ruston Chase got out, Santoki, all I saw was this. I was chatting, I don't know who I was chatting to at the time, it might have been Pete Miller, and all I saw was, I think Chase got out, and at one point Santoki was next to me. Next thing I look, Santoki's gone. 5 minutes later, Santoki comes back and goes, yeah, I'm going home. And man just clocked out. Santoki said, yeah, I'm done with this. He knew. I said, Santoki, I'm going to have to stay for the full pain. But Santoki said, Jaja, I'm going home, back to London. Anyways, people, we'll be back soon with more content. I'm Machel St. Patrick here at One Half the Caribbean Cricket Podcast. Thank you. Oh, yeah, this internet's been choppy. Thank you, and good night.
West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast. West Indies Cricket, Caribbean Cricket Podcast.